for you today. Today is March 13, 2025, and it is known as World Kidney Day. I just realized that today is World Kidney Day, and I wanted to kind of talk about it. So before I get into World Kidney Day, I want to tell you guys kind of what the kidneys do so you guys understand how important it is to preserve your kidney health. So one of the most important things that your kidneys do is they actually remove toxins from your blood. So your blood goes through your kidneys. Your kidneys are basically the filter for your body, and your kidneys remove things like urea, BUN, creatinine, and it filters it into urine. And then all that toxic fluid, urine, goes into your bladder, and then you pee. So you need to have healthy kidneys to remove toxins. Second thing kidneys do is they remove fluid. So every time you drink, that water ends up in your bloodstream. The kidneys remove excess fluid, which helps you to maintain good blood pressure. So when your kidneys are not working properly, it doesn't filter out excess fluid properly, you get high blood pressure. The third thing the kidneys do is it helps release a hormone called erythropoietin, which is a hormone that helps red cell production, which gets oxygen to your body. So when you have bad kidneys, you can end up becoming anemic, which means you don't have enough oxygen. So those are the three main things that the kidneys do. Now that we understand the importance of it, I want to quickly explain to you guys my symptoms that I had when I discovered I had kidney failure. Okay. So we're going to go back in time to 2009. 2009, my mom had just passed away. I was obviously very sad, traumatized, heartbroken by the medical care system. From my understanding, they didn't do anything wrong, but the fact that I watched my mom go through cancer and pass away from it was one of the most horrible experiences in my life. So I already did not want to see doctors because I did not want to get bad news. However, I ended up going to the doctor in 2009, and I ended up having to go in for like kidney biopsies and all these tests because my blood pressure was high, and they had determined that it appeared that my kidneys had some early signs of damage. Now, I was young, I was like 25, 26 at the time, and so I was of the belief as long as I keep my body fat low, I work out, I look good, I feel good, I don't have to worry about this nonsense. So I never went back to the doctor. I lived my life, you know, somewhat healthy, somewhat not healthy, and everything was fine. I did notice though for years that there was a lot of like whenever I'd pee, there would be like bubbles in my urine, which at the time I should have realized that was a pretty serious sign. That is called proteinuria. It's when your kidneys are leaking protein, and it creates like foamy urine. So if you have foamy urine, you definitely want to go to the doctor and get that checked out. I also started getting gout flare-ups when I was in Vietnam. I was eating a lot of fish on the beach, and I had a gout flare-up. Now, gout flare-ups could either come from diet or poorly functioning kidneys that can't filter out the things you're eating properly. So I got gout meds and kept that pretty much under control for a couple years. That was 2018, kept it under control for a couple years. Now let's fast forward all the way to 2022. 2022, I thought one day I woke up and I actually, let's back up. I went to a Trump rally up in South Carolina, and on the way back, I had Red Lobster. And by the time I got back to Florida, I woke up the next day and I felt like I sprained my ankle. I was very confused by that. I figured out that it was actually a gout flare-up, and it was the worst one of my life, the most pain I'd ever been in. The pain was so bad that I could not leave my room for about 5 days because I couldn't even walk. It hurt to even crawl. So I just stayed in my room 5 days, pissing in a bucket, throwing the bucket out the door. It was a disgusting way to live. Decided to move to, so the gout episode resolved finally after about 2 weeks. But yeah, my ankle still felt really sore like a sprain, but I figured it was just a sprain. I was like, whatever. Decided to go back to Mexico for a couple months, was limping the entire time, okay? I was in pain. Food started tasting weird, like it started tasting like metal. And when I go to the bar, alcohol tasted like poison. So my body was like rejecting alcohol. Everything was off. I also started having a hard time peeing. So I'd feel the need to pee, stand in front of the toilet to pee, nothing would come out for 30 seconds, and then it would come out in a very weak stream. And I was just like, this is weird. My left foot was swollen. Eventually, it started feeling like it was on fire. I went to get a massage in Mexico. As soon as she touched my left foot, extreme pain. I was like, no, 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 you can't even massage my legs, my left leg. I was like, this is bad. So finally, I was convinced to go see a podiatrist. And as soon as she saw my foot, she said, this is nothing I could help you with because this appears to be internal. That was my first, oh shit. So she told me which ER to go to. I went to the ER, they took my blood. The doctor calls me back 2 days later, and he says to me, you have the most toxic blood I've seen in 15 years. Thank you, Corpse Mankind, for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. We're gonna give you a heart and a like. So he says to me, you gotta go see a nephrologist. Or what you really should do is go back to the US right now. You need dialysis. Now, I broke down crying in his office because I didn't even know what the hell dialysis was. I thought it was going to be like a portable machine that I had to carry with me all the way, kind of like a colostomy bag, but because I had no idea. So I broke down crying, and it was very traumatic. I called my dad crying, and I booked a flight back to the US. Within 4 hours, I was on a flight from Puerto Vallarta to Dallas for a layover, then to Orlando. I remember when I was at the Orlando airport, the Dallas airport for the first time, sitting there. It was the first time I felt out of it, mentally loopy, where I just felt like detached from myself. I felt very distant. So I called the Dallas emergency line and I said, I don't think I can make it to my gate. Can you please send a wheelchair? Because I'm feeling a little lightheaded, a little fatigued. What it was brain fog from all the toxins. My BUN was, I believe, I could look it up. It was either 200 or 400. I think it was 200, which is about 10 times higher than it's supposed to be. My creatinine was 30, which is about 25 times more than it's supposed to be. So the toxins in my blood were just increasing at a very dangerous level. My hemoglobins were 4.9. Those are supposed to be 13. So I was not getting enough oxygen to my organs, which is why I was winded, which is why I was out of breath. Stairs were my enemy, by the way. If I would go upstairs, I would get super winded. A very weird symptom, which I don't think I've ever talked about publicly, but people ask, and I should be honest and transparent. One time I had blood in my, not my urine, but the other stuff that comes out. Yeah, that should have probably concerned me a little bit more when I saw blood there, but I don't know. I just feel like I got my whole life pretty healthy. Really thought that whatever I was faced would resolve itself, but no, I needed dialysis. Started on a chest catheter for 2 months. However, these are considered temporary. Doctors don't like keeping it in here for more than 6 months because it has a higher risk of infection, excuse me. So eventually I got off of this and went into PD, peritoneal dialysis, for 2.5 months, 2.5 years. I was on that for a long time, eventually 12 hours a day on the machine, 12 hours off the machine, 7 days a week. So I was plugged into a machine 84 hours a week, ended up getting an infection this January, which was the most painful infection of my life. The infection was called methylobacterium. They thought that it developed a biofilm on my catheter, so the decision was to pull out the catheter and go back to hemo. Now, hemo can be done in one of two ways, either in clinic or at home. I'm currently in clinic getting trained to do it at home. This is my machine. This is my blood. So right now my blood is going out of the arterial line into the machine. The machine is cleaning it through the filter. There's the filter doing its work. And then once the blood is clean, it returns to my body through the venous line, the blue line. So out the red, in the blue. Pretty cool, huh? So while I sit here, the dialysis machine is pulling out my toxins, and it's also pulling out about 1.6 liters of the fluid that I drank yesterday. The one thing the machine cannot do is boost my hemoglobins. So for that, I'm required to get artificial hormones every time my levels are low. Right now they've been good, as well as iron infusion because the artificial hormones need the iron to work together. Thank you, Zilly G. So I have to get iron infusions as well as a shot called Mircera. And Mircera is the name of the drug. And what it does is it boosts the hormone erythropoietin, which is the hormone that typically your kidneys would produce to boost red blood cells. So I am artificially being kept alive through this machine as well as through artificial injections every couple weeks, every couple months. And the only reason why my life expectancy is still pretty good is because I'm young and I'm otherwise very healthy. My heart's got clean bill of health. I'm low body fat, high muscle mass. I'm actually rebuilding muscle because this type of dialysis doesn't pull protein out of the blood like stomach dialysis does. So there's benefits to this machine. Also, I'll be using this machine at home 5 times a week, 3 hours a day. So it's 15 hours on the machine during the day, which is nicer than 84 hours a week at night. However, on PD, I could sleep at night while I did it. This I can't sleep on. I have to stay awake because it's accessing my blood. And if something happens like a blood leak, high blood pressure, low blood pressure, I need to stay alive. I need to stay awake so that I can actually troubleshoot what's going on. So there's pros and cons to all types of dialysis. But thus far, I like this a lot. I like my baby right over here. This is actually not my machine. I'm getting a new one. I might name it this time. I don't know. But that is an overview of what the kidneys do, how my symptoms of kidney failure, because a lot of people always ask that. Here you go. And third, my treatment plan. Now, the final stage is a transplant. Now, fortunately for me, I'm eligible. Now, people ask all the time, what caused your kidney failure? For me, it was actually an autoimmune disease called glomerulonephritis. What that means is the death of the glomeruli, which are the filters on the kidneys. Now, how does this happen? Well, for me, the prevailing theory for this disease is that when you're a child and you get strep throat, your immune system changes to fight strep throat. But while it changes, it also sometimes goes haywire and attacks healthy organs, in this case, the glomeruli of the kidneys. So I actually got this disease when I got strep throat as a child, and then slowly throughout my life, it was destroying my kidneys. So that sucks. However, I'm eligible for a transplant because when I get the transplant, I'm going to be put on suppressing drugs, which is going to suppress my immune system, which means glomerulonephritis should not affect the new kidney. That's the good news. So I am eligible for a transplant. A few people are going through the process right now. Some are further than others. The best way to get a transplant is someone who donates blood, no, someone who tests their blood, finds out they're a match. I get their kidney directly. It's 1-to-1. However, that's uncommon. Most people are only about a 1% kidney match, 1% likelihood of a kidney match if they're non-family. So there's a program called the kidney exchange or kidney swap. What that means is if I have a friend who's willing to donate a kidney, but they're not a match for me, they still go ahead and donate their kidney to someone in need across the country. So UNOS, which is the United Nations organ sharing company, they'll scour the whole country to find someone who is a match for my friend. Once they find that person, they're going to look for a person that also has a friend that wants to donate a kidney but isn't a match for them. So we're going to share kidneys. So basically, my friend will donate that stranger a kidney, and that stranger's friend will donate me a kidney. So all 4 of us are going to meet together, maybe here in Tampa, maybe in Dallas, I have no idea. And basically 2 people are going to get cut open, they're going to have their kidneys removed, and 2 of us are going to get cut open and have the kidneys installed. So 4 of us are going to have surgery in one day, and that is one of the most common ways to share organs. So I have a few friends that are going through the process right now. I call these people friends, even though I don't really know them too well personally, because to donate an organ, you got to be very friendly with somebody. That's a pretty amazing thing to do. And I got a few friends that are willing to go through the kidney swap program. So at this point, I don't even need a match. I just need someone healthy enough and eligible enough to donate to somebody in need. And I have a few people that are willing to do that right now. So even if I don't get their kidney, I will get a kidney through their donation. So like, I'm hoping this happens soon. Now, people could change their mind, things can go wrong, they could discover something. So I need as many people to test as possible to make sure I find somebody. So the search is not done yet. If you want to see if you could donate a kidney and give me a second chance at life, you could email me at patrioticpapi@gmail.com. If you know anybody that's struggling from kidney failure, has end stage, stage 5, stage 4, stage 3, stage 2, stage 1, if you have anyone in your family that's got concerns, questions, fear, going through dialysis, wants to know about all the different treatments, you can have them reach out to me. It's free of charge, okay? I don't charge to give advice for someone in my condition. I'll tell you guys the truth. When I had kidney failure, I knew no one. I had no one to talk to. I had no one to consult with, no one to share my feelings with, no one. I did all this on my own for the first couple months. And it was very isolating. It was very lonely. But I was part of a lot of Facebook groups, which I got to say were pretty helpful. But now I've been helping a lot of people on the phone that are thinking of switching treatment, fearful of dialysis, hearing they got to go on dialysis, asking questions about it. Remember, no one knows as much about dialysis as someone who's on it. You know, nurses and doctors, they can give you a lot of info, but speaking to a patient that's on dialysis, that's been through the symptoms, that's going through the transplant list, my experience is in a lot of ways more valuable than when a medical professional tries to explain what you might experience. So if you know anybody that needs help with this disease, you can have them contact me on Instagram, Adam Francisco, Be Free My Sheeple, X, Adam Francisco _, or Facebook, Adam Francisco Travel. All those channels, I'm available and I'm somewhat responsive. I might not give you the most long-winded responses simply because I can't write paragraphs to all the messages. And if you have an anonymous profile, probably not going to respond to you. If you have an avatar as a profile, like a weird photo, probably not going to give you much attention. I really only interact with people who I know who they are. I don't even care if you're MAGA, to be honest. You could be a Democrat, a liberal, and if you're going through kidney failure, I will offer my help to you. I have no problem doing that because we're all humans, and this disease does not discriminate. But I am more likely to get on the phone and call you if you have an actual profile, an actual name, and I can actually research you because I do it for safety reasons. So that's what's going on now. I did promise we're going to have a Q&A right now. Now, the topic of this stream is not politics, so we're not going to go there right now. The topic of this stream is kidneys, kidney health, kidney failure, dialysis, and transplant. So if you have any questions about that, drop them in the comments. And if you want to make sure I see your comment, you're going to have to do a super chat. You could even do the $2 one. I think you could do a $2 super chat, and that's like the cheapest one. But that'll make sure I see your question, and I will prioritize it in the stream and immediately answer it. Otherwise, I'm just going to start now reading the questions. So whatever I see, that's where we're going to start. So either re-ask it or give a cheap super chat. All right. Michael says, have you tried ivermectin? I did when I had COVID, the illness. And for me, it erased my symptoms, my personal experience, within 12 hours. Now, I'm not saying that that works for everybody. I'm not saying it's a cure. I'm not saying it's the treatment plan. Make sure you speak to your doctor, speak to your health professional. Always look at the WHO, the FDA, the CDC for guidance. They're the experts. I'm just one man on dialysis, but I did use ivermectin for the illness, and it did remove my symptoms in 12 hours. I believe Anthony is also on dialysis, it seems like, and he said, look at your treatment with the tank top on. I'd be freezing. I do have a hoodie here, by the way, in case I do get cold. And right now my feet are a little cold, but I'm wearing shorts right now. But you know, I'm okay. It's Florida. I'm doing all right. Yeah, ivermectin is cattle dewormer, but it also is a human drug. It's been used over 1 billion times, typically for parasites. However, research has shown that it could potentially have some anti-cancer causing properties and capabilities. If you don't believe me, you can look it up on Google, type in anti-cancer ivermectin or type in cancer ivermectin. You could do your own research. Again, consult the WHO, FTC, CDA, NIH, PubMed for more information, but do your own research. Ivermectin has a very good safety profile, not a lot of side effects, been administered over 1 billion times, and it is a human drug, as well as a cattle dewormer. Truth be told, says I have stage 4 and always tired. Is this normal? Yep. One of the effects of kidney failure or advanced kidney disease, which you do have at stage 4, is fatigue. You will be tired with kidney failure. This is because your body is not efficiently removing out all of your toxins. You probably have elevated toxins. You probably have elevated fluid levels. You probably have blood pressure swings. So you need to protect your kidney function as best as you can. That's the only thing you can really do at this point. Remember, guys, this is a Q&A, so if you don't have any questions, I have nothing to respond to. My blood pressure's good. Wow. Let's see. All right. Remember, guys, we're only responding to questions right now. Mel Lee, I'm doing all right today. You know, just got a few more hours on this machine. Doug Downs is correct. Most drugs that we give to humans, we give to dogs, just in smaller quantities that are appropriate for their size. Yeah, I'm not reading any of the comments, just questions. Anthony, 15 hours a week total, 3 hours a session, 5 hours a day. Now, I can adjust it up and down based on how much fluid I drink. So let's say I go out and have 2 liters of fluid today. That's slightly above my daily limit, so I'd have to stay on a little bit longer. So if I only want to do 3 hours a day, I have to make sure I stick to my fluid limits. If I want to do less than 3 hours a day, I could add a 6-day a week and only do 2.5 hours a day. RC, the best and closest to that would be xenotransplants. So pig transplants, for example. They would grow a pig transplant in a lab, but they would modify it using like CRISPR technology to modify it to make sure that the organ doesn't reject. And they've seen some early success with that. I do not have diabetes. Truth be told, there's a waiting list, but it's only for deceased donors. It varies by state. Florida is 3 to 5 years. New York is 5 to 8 years. Deceased kidneys last about 10 to 15 years, 20 if you're lucky. Live kidney donors last 10 to 30 years, 30 if you're lucky. So doctors prefer living kidney donors because they last a lot longer. The reason why they last longer is because when you have a deceased kidney donor, there has been some stoppage of blood flow when the person dies. When you have a living donor, there's almost no stoppage of blood flow. So the kidney itself is in a much healthier condition. Heimbo, kidneys, alcohol doesn't actually kill your kidneys directly. Your liver processes alcohol. However, alcohol does impact your blood pressure, which can in turn affect your kidneys. So alcohol does secondarily hurt kidneys, but it primarily hurts your liver. However, somebody with a kidney transplant, as well as a regular healthy person, it's suggested they drink no more than 14 units of alcohol per week, which is 2 drinks a day, 14 drinks a week. That is the medical expertise. Of course, 0 alcohol is best because at the end of the day, alcohol is a poison. But you could argue wine has some additional health benefits besides the alcohol for you, if you consider a health benefit. But yeah, that's the recommended amount, 14 drinks per week total. Dorkley, yes, there is a tube going into one of the arteries that goes into my heart. Yeah, you will get better mental clarity, better physical health with no alcohol in your body. Truth be told, you'd have to talk to your nephrologist. However, late stage kidney patients need to watch how much protein they have. So you need to start moderating your protein levels. Now, if you have kidney failure or advanced, you probably have high blood pressure, which means you're probably going to have high cholesterol. One of the body's self-defense mechanisms is when you have high blood pressure, it could corrode the arteries. So what the body does is it actually starts to build cholesterol to give a layer to prevent arteries from being destroyed. So high blood pressure and cholesterol typically go hand in hand. So if you have high blood pressure, you probably have elevated cholesterol, which means you probably have to watch things like red meat. However, talk to your doctor, get a read on your high blood pressure, get a read on your cholesterol, and find out. But you definitely should be watching your protein. I believe no more than probably 50 grams a day, which is not a lot for a man. We have hemo in clinic as well as at home. We have home dialysis. However, California does have nocturnal dialysis, which we don't have. Nocturnal hemodialysis. Jesse Lopez, I need a kidney transplant. RC, if I were to take any immune or herbs, I would need to run it by my nephrologist and my dietitian. I don't have kidney stones. Heimbaugh, I don't know if Loza beat blood cancer, but it might be in remission and it might be controlled. I know about his story. I follow Loza. I don't think he beat blood cancer, but it could be under control or in remission right now, and I pray that it stays that way for him for the rest of his life. SDK, I've already been on dialysis for 2.5 years, more than 2.5 years, almost 3 years. Jesse Lopez, I'm O positive. All right, that is going to wrap up the Kidney World Health Day live stream. I wanted to make sure I gave some information about kidney failure, kidney disease. I wanted to create awareness of World Kidney Day and give you guys an opportunity to ask questions to someone who is dealing with this every day. Congratulations, Rattles. I don't know any body cleaning products. Just drink a lot of water, stay hydrated. All right, guys, thanks for watching. And as always,